I want your money, I'm strapped for cash. I need your money, too lazy to get a job. Give me your money, I'm not being funny. Give me your money today.
This is a brilliant work of satire. It's my new favourite show.
Cards on the table, you're probably not going to see a lot of comic books reviewed by me. Frankly, I don't read as many comics as I used to, and the internet already has a guy who's better at reviewing comics than I am. I might be a wizard, but I'm not one of these Merlin types that can do everything. I throw fireballs and turn people into frogs. What do y'all want from me? Though, speaking of frogs, guys, we all know this is a grift, right? Ethan Van Sciver is a dried-up has-been who wants to keep the comics industry in the same insular, self-referential holding pattern that almost caused the entire industry to vanish up its own rectum in the 90s. Cyberfrog isn't even fit to shine the shoes of Youngblood or that animated adaptation of Battletoads, and you've got to be pretty god-awful to be worse than something that drove our magnificent comic defender beyond the boundaries of sanity.
We cut to Youngblood headquarters and its raspberry orange sky, where oh God, now I'm blind!
Come on now, let's get together and burn.
It's not even in my hand, but I can still see it! Molly, I don't want to review comics anymore. Tell me your secret. Boyle, we have to get out of here. We have to. Boyle! You did this! Oh. Why, Liefeld?
But there's a comic I feel doesn't get a lot of love, and we here at the Tribunal of the Imagination are all about shining a spotlight on hidden gems that might bring joy and happiness in dark times. And believe you me, these are dark times. So may I present one such hidden gem, the tale of a hero we neither deserve nor need, but should really someday cross over with Hellboy or the Goon. Released in 2008 by Dark Horse Comics and written by Jim Hardison with Bart Sears, Randy Elliott, and Dan Jackson handling the illustration chores, the Helm asks a pertinent question with its tagline. What if you had a magical superpower and it hated your guts? And to answer that question, our story introduces Matthew Blurty, a schlubby 30-something dork who stumbles across a garage sale.
100 garage sales, son!
On what's basically the worst day of his life, and wouldn't you know it, he stumbles across the Helm of the Valhalladream, a sentient magic Viking helmet that bestows upon its wearer the mantle of a magical hero who defends the innocent from supernatural evil. But there's a catch. The Helm's powers have been weakened, and it mistakes Matthew for the prophesied chosen one, only to have its vision unclouded and realize that Matt is just your average chubby nerd boy who lives in mommy's basement. But Matt isn't having any of it and decides to reverse his fortunes by press-gaying the Helm into training him to become the next Valhalladream. So there's our setup. Magic trinket that's equal parts amplifier artifact and curmudgeonly mentor, nerd boy with no special gifts of his own who simply wasn't taking no for an answer, and together they fight spookums, monsters, and evil sorcerers that go unseen by the perceptions of mere mortals. And there's an interesting wrinkle to the story. The supernatural world of the Helm is literally invisible to ordinary people, with Matt only able to perceive it by wearing the titular artifact. So when people start turning up dead and Matt's girlfriend Jill discovers a bloodstained sword in his closet, even Matt himself starts to question the validity and indeed sanity of his actions. Until the Lich who killed the previous Valhalladream shows up at his doorstep, leaving no doubt that Matt really is a monster-slaying hero, and the Helm is more than just a shiny cosplay prop. The main thing to recommend here is the interplay between Matt and his mentor, the Magic Helmet. The tagline wasn't kidding around when it mentions a magical superpower that hates your guts. The Helm isn't happy that Matthew basically forced it into service, and the creative medieval insults come hard and fast during training montages and when our erstwhile geek-turned-paladin is fighting monsters and evil wizards. Still, Matt proves to be resilient, and the Helm dedicated in its mission to kicking the forces of darkness in the teeth, so they make for a worthy, interesting odd-couple hero duo. And the central gag, what if a magic Norse artifact wound up in the hands of an average nerd boy who wasn't really meant to have it in the first place, is pretty hilarious on its face. I'm giving this book 3.5 spell books out of 4. Seek this comic out online or bug your local comic shop or Barnes & Noble for the trade paperback. If you've never heard of this before now, I can't recommend it enough. Now, if you'll excuse me, I too need to kick some evil sorcerer ass. And tell Linkara to maybe get this one a more in-depth look-see. Notice me, senpai!
Our magnificent comic defender is here with a name to make publishers tremble with fear. Linkara, atop the fourth wall. He knows what to do when the world is in flux. Also, he's read your book and he thinks that it sucks.